Hey, True Seekers, it's Nathaniel and Carolyn here with our first review of Red Letter Day, starting with Faith Animo.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, so we get to start off with this fancy little divider because it came in our collector's box, and I think it is awesome.
You just like Luminy.
I do just like Luminy. Speaking of Luminy, first one we're going to review is Luminy.
Baby Luminy.
Yes.
He's a little nightlight.
Yep. So Luminy level 1 is a 2 faith for 4 virtue points.
Yep.
And the Bible verse is 4 lines long. So it's going to be some work to memorize that Bible verse.
Mm-hmm.
But he's adorable. We also have a baby onesie for Levi that has this character on it.
Yep.
Then we got Luminy level 2.
Much more inquisitive.
Yes. So it is also a 2 cost, but one of those faith has to be discarded and has this really interesting ability. So when you grow this one on top of a Luminy level 1 from your hand, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and just discard any number of cards from them. And then you put the rest back in any order.
Yeah, that can be really cool. And working with some of the other strategies in this, and it can be very competitive.
Yep. And so, like, the idea...
And shorter Bible verse.
Yes, shorter Bible verse. It's only 3 lines long. Now, the really neat thing about this is you can use its ability to discard Faith Power cards, which really works out for Luminy level 3.
Yep. Speaking of...
Luminy level 3.
Looks awesome.
You want to take this one?
No, go ahead.
All right. So this one, level 3, costs 3 for 13. Now, 3 for 13 is fair.
It's on level for an Ultra.
Yep. And then it has an action. You may select up to 3 standard power cards from your discard pile and place them directly into your power pool.
Yup.
You'll also notice that it has the Hope Fellowship bonus for 16. So then it becomes a 3 for 16, which is just better.
That's, our Merino Ultra. Right there.
Yep. And then we're just going to go ahead and compare it to Luminy level 1 from set 1.
Yep.
So just to look at the artwork and the comparison, the updated design's just so much better.
Oh yeah. Way better artwork. He's just cool all around. They brought him back. His offering was just a little bit too OP for what it should have been at the time, and that's okay.
Yep.
They brought him back and they kind of fixed everything and made him look a lot better, and yeah.
Not as broken, but he is still pretty good. Just balanced.
Yep.
And then you gotta look at Flipper here. Because Luminy level 3 happens to be the weakness of Flipper, who is being two-faced, and he is in Light Tend.
Mm-hmm. Flipper's just a great city.
Yes.
To be honest.
And we're gonna Yep. Can be a 7 or a 17.
Just depending where you're at in the game. Which is cool.
Yep.
And even with the fellowship bonus, he's not enough to take it on by himself.
Right.
That's good to keep in mind.
And this is a 3-line Bible verse.
Yep.
Not it's longer than this one, but shorter than that one.
Not as long as that one.
Yep. Now we're moving on to Sparcube. So Sparcube in this set costs 1, but you have to discard it for 4 virtue points, which is, on par with Pumpkindle.
Yep.
Only thing is
he doesn't have an action or ability, but that's okay.
Because he does something else.
Yep.
He grows.
He grows now into a very sharp little ice cube. He's a cute little round ice cube over here, like kind of melting over there. And over here, he's sharper and more jabby, apparently.
Yep.
And actually his fingers.
Yes.
But he's also a 1 for 7 and has a fellowship bonus as well, which makes him a 1 for 10, which is phenomenal. He's just really cool. And he is the upgraded version of the Cross Trainers Sparcube, which is a 1 for 3 or 1 for 5.
Yep. And the 1 for 5, like, quite frankly, if we're going to put Sparcube in a deck, we're definitely probably going to use the Cross Trainers one. It has a really long Bible verse.
Really, really long Bible verse.
It's one of my favorite Bible verses, but it has a long Bible verse to memorize to defeat Cinnies. And yes, this one does defeat Cinnies, and it defeats some pretty important Cinnies this set.
Absolutely. That would be our dog drinking water.
Yep.
Because he gets thirsty, apparently.
Yep. So, and now, Sparcube defeats 2 Cinnies. First one being this one from this set called Murkay. Murkay is a phenomenal Cinny. Only lets you draw 2
He's
cards.
He's just rude.
Yeah,
that's what he is. You say phenomenal. You mean rude.
Yes. But, you know, I much rather memorize this Bible verse than this Bible verse to defeat this one because I can make a whole lot more mistakes with this one.
Yep. Which you have.
Yep. And then
I kind of think he's cuter, though, to be totally honest. He's got, like, the cute little eyes and the feet and everything, but he's kind of winking at you, you know.
And thematically, this one does about the same thing as this one does, just this one does double what this one does.
Yeah, but this one is not a discard cost.
Yeah, you don't have to discard with this one.
Which, that's really nice, especially if you only have one faith out there.
Right, so I probably run, like, a 2-to-1 ratio, where I do 2 of this one, 1 of this one, or 3 of this one, 2 of this one.
Yeah. That would be.
Yep.
That would be pretty good.
And then all these Sparcubes also can go toe to toe with Scorch Mega because Sparcube is also a weakness of Scorch Mega.
Yep. So I'd rather want to learn that Bible verse.
Yep.
That's
so
what I would want to learn.
It's a give and take. This one, if you're going to be focusing on defeating these Cinnies. These, if you're going to be focusing on the Hope Fellowship theme.
Yep. And next we have Macy.
Yep.
Super cute. 1 for 5. It was really good. It is a discard cost, however, but the action's pretty cool. You may return a story card from your discard pile into your hand, specifically, which I think that's cool. A lot of them just put them like into your deck, or if you have that kind of thing, it's a story card. This one allows you to put it into your hand for next turn, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that 1 for 5 cost is like fetchy level, armor level 1.
Yeah.
It's still really good. The action's really good. And also, this is a dog. Yeah. It is a seal.
That's a water puppy.
It's a water puppy.
It's a water puppy. Look at those eyes. This one does not have eyes.
Yes. This is Trusty. Trusty is untroubled, and he has a Bible verse that's only 2 lines long. And Trusty does interact with Cinnies.
Yes, Trusty's just cool in general. I like Trusty. Trusty grows into this fabulous big old good boy. He is a 3 for 10, which, that's not terrible. But his ability, for each Trusty in your discard pile, you may remove 1 cost to activate this animal. Which is really easy to do. So let's say if you've grown it in your previous turn and you played 1 already, then you now have 2 in there, and now he costs 1, and a 1 for 10, which we've already said is really good. And I just like his artwork. He's cute.
And let's just be real. This is like a more balanced version of like Stagnetic Strategy.
Yes, this one is harder to abuse than the Electric Deer.
Yes.
But he is the updated version of this Trusty. Which he is a 2 for 5, which he's also a 2 for 5, so not much has changed there, but he has the specified cost versus the 1 universal cost, and his verse is really long.
Yes. So the really, if we just compare these 2 Trusties, this one having the specified cost of 2 faith, where this one's a faith and a universal. They both provide 2. It's a 2 for 5. This one you just have a little bit more adaptability with the universal cost. Plus, its Bible verse is just shorter. So if you're looking for a Trusty to run in your deck, the new Red Letter Day one is actually, I would consider personally, better than this one. But this one is a better Bible verse challenge itself. I mean, it is a +5 if you're doing Hide It in Your Heart. So
yeah, I like the Red Letter Day Trusty just because he's cuter to me.
And then we have a level 2 Trusty from Cross Trainers as well.
Yep. And you may exchange 1 card from your discard pile with 1 card in your hand, which I think is pretty cool. It's an exchange. It can be very helpful, just competitively, strategically, but he does have a discard cost, whereas the Red Letter Day Trustee does not, but the Cross Trainers is a 12 for 3 versus a 10 for 3.
And the Bible on this one is literally one line.
Yeah. I still like the artwork better over here, though.
Yep. And all these trustees happen to defeat the Scoffish.
Yep, which that is a show-stopping card if you have the right deck.
Yep. And because you're running Faith, you're going to probably want to run Trustee just to defeat the Scoffish, because Scoffish is going to be your number one counter against your Faith deck.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind.
Next up, we got Flow.
So my wife is very partial to Flow, especially ever since she did her one-cost deck. So let's let you talk about Flow.
So Flow is a cute little baby sheepy. And I just really like Flow. Being a 1 for 3, not bad. It's kind of your typical for like the first set. You had a lot of smaller ones for 1 cost. Again, that was one of the reasons why I did a 1-cost deck. But when this card is played from your hand into your small group, you may place 1 love animal from your discard pile into your hand, which is super helpful when you're trying to play strategically. If you have just other things going on, you've already played your Agape Soar, if you've got, that would actually be a fun play.
Honest.
If you wanted to get something from your deck, you use this one's ability, go grab your Agape Soar from your discard pile, and then use Agape Sword to discard this one and go grab your Agape Sword level 2.
That's a much better play than what I was going to tell you. I was going to bring up Bear Maid, because you can go use this to grab Bear Maid and then you grow this one.
Yeah, I'd rather go for Agape Sword.
Yeah, because then you discard this one and then you just go get Agape Sword. That's a much better play.
And as the new set has it, Flow is also there's a secondary Flow that is a level 1. It is a 1 for 4. It is a discard cost, but it has a fellowship bonus with love. So it could be kind of cool if you use this one to go grab your things, discard this one, lay this one down for your fellowship bonus. That could be a pretty cool play. Having 2 level 1s of different ones of the same card is going to be interesting when you build your deck, because you can only have 3 of the same level of the same name. So you would only be able to run a combination of 3, not 3 of each one. So that could be interesting. But Flow grows into Flow level 2, which is a 1 for 6, which this one could be a 1 for 6 under the right circumstances. But this one could be a 1 for 9, which, as we've said before, really good. This is actually on par with Positifany from the first set. And this one's ability is, as long as this card is in your small group, any love animal in play may not be targeted by the actions of Cinnies, which that's just really cool. And I think these two, just the artwork wise, go really well together. I just really like Flow. Set 1, Flow was originally Woolsey, and they would grow them as different names. They changed that in the second set to make it a little bit easier for kids and for people to understand. So Woolsey became Flow, but Woolsey was the adorable level 1, again a 1 for 3, and it grew into Flow level 2, which was a 1 for 8. So I think these are just better all around. The artwork I feel like is better, but dude, look at that face. It's just cute.
And I do want to point out that I'm going to reveal to you 2 Cinnies here, and they actually are their Bible verses line up with the other Flow.
Yeah.
So here's
so
first
we have
one.
Blinders over here, which is the blind guide, and his weakness is Flow. And then we have Wolf. Wolf. His weakness is Flow because he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And he's pretty cool.
Yep. And then just to bring up, Woolsey defeats Confirmander, which doesn't really apply to our review of Flow, but it applies to Woolsey here.
Yep.
And Anxiator from set 1.
Yep. which they did bring back Anxiator
Yes.
for this set, but the original Anxiator, his weakness was flow. So that can be something if you have someone who's built a deck from multiple sets. Just things to keep in mind. So there are technically 4 Cinnies that are defeated by this card.
And then I realized that I need to grab a couple Universal Animo.
Oh.
Yep. So there's flow, and flow, and flow.
Next we have Quillow. Quillow is a level 2, which grows upon the Universal Quillow level 1. And Quillow is an interesting card because Quillow grows into all of the colors. So it starts off as a universal, and there is a Faith, Hope, Love, and Holy Spirit Quillow level 2. So again, keeping that in mind, if you are building dual colored decks and you are wanting to run Quillow and some of the other cards that do the same thing, you can still only run 3 Quillow level 2, regardless of their typing.
Yep.
Keep that in mind with your deck building.
And just to give you a quick idea, you can run 2 of this one in your Faith deck and 1 of the Love ones.
Or 1 of your Hope. It just depends on what kind of fellowship bonuses you want to go for, what kind of interactions you want.
Yep. So let's go and talk about Quillow level 2.
He has this funny little victory point cost up here, which is great. And you're probably wondering, what does that mean? Well, it's the ability.
So its ability is that it doesn't specify when this takes place.
That's true.
So I'm going to say that it's when it's played. They probably just didn't think about that. But it says that you may place up to 4 cards from your hand beneath this card. And effectively, those cards are just out of play. Like, they just don't exist until you resolve this ability. When this card is activated, this card earns 3 virtue points for each card beneath this one. And you discard those cards when this card is discarded. So
he technically could be a 1 for 12.
Yes, and that is absolutely insane. This card's it reminds me of like a fasting card from my card game, where you just discard useless cards, and then you get additional points for that.
You know what would be really cool?
Yeah.
Is if you put David Sling on this card.
No. We don't want to break this with set 1 cards.
We can break it.
We can. We will do fun videos where we do that.
David Sling removes 1 faith power cost, and so effectively you could make this a free 12. You know.
Yep.
So Quillow's pretty fun. He's just, and all the artwork is different. This one is blue because he's faith. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yep.
So
we're going to definitely be clarifying the timing of when the 4 cards go underneath of it.
Yeah.
So
we'll get back to you on that one.
Yep. And moving on to Flamingo.
So Flamingo is similar to Quillow in the fact that it is a universal level 1 and it grows into any of the colors. So this is obviously the Faith level 2 Flamingo, which is a 2 for 10, which very balanced, very well done. 1 discard cost. And this one's ability?
So this one has this really kind of interesting ability that we can kind of manipulate, but because this is ability is what makes it really good. When this card is played to grow Flamingo level 1, you can select any 3 cards from your discard pile and place them on the bottom of your deck in any order. Other than the fact this is a 2 for 10, there's a card called Hidden Treasure?
Yep, where you draw the bottom 3 cards of your deck. So you can stack your deck and then just draw them if you play it in the right order, which is great.
Yep. And so this is absolutely phenomenal, especially because basically we're going to need to get some more Flamingos.
Yep.
Because we only pulled 1 from our box.
Sad face.
Yep. Now we're going to move on to Alance level 1.
Ultra.
So
specifically, Ultra. He has a really long Bible verse.
Yes.
But he's a 2 for 11, which is really good, but at their discard costs, which in a Faith deck, that doesn't really mean much.
Yep.
So, yeah, like, pretty great card right here.
I personally, I like the fact that we have such high value with such low cost.
Yeah.
But they made it fair by having you have discarded it.
Yes, and making it an ultra.
Yeah. It's also not discard 3, because then that would just be like doubling up on armoring an ultra.
Right.
And we don't need 2 ultras that do the same mechanic.
Right. And the ultra Avalanche is from the set 2, level 1 and level 2 Avalanches.
Yep. And so just taking a look at this, this Avalanche goes in this Avalanche. This artwork is used for this. Just kind of flipped it. But
his cost is just better.
Yeah, his cost is just better. The thing is, he's an ultra, so he would take up your ultra and or slot mega. Yeah.
He's still better.
Yes, he is still better.
But look at this cute boy. He's so innocent.
Yes, he is. And
he didn't have any arms either, apparently.
Right.
How did he grow arms?
I don't know. Why does Snivy lose his arms when he evolves? So.
Touche.
All right. And then to finish off this Faith review, we've got to talk about the long-awaited and well-deserved Ultra Luminy.
Yeah, he pretty great.
So he costs 4 Faith, which feels bad because I don't want to pay 4 for anything.
That's true.
But it's a 4 for 15, which is just fair.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of value you expect out of a generic.
And you don't have to discard anything either, so that's nice.
Right. And so this is something I put a David Sling on or something from set 1. But we are going to be slowly drifting away from set 1. So that we can focus on set cross trainers in Red Letter Day and future sets for competitive play. I would still probably use Armoring an Ultra over this until they do something about Stagnetic.
That's true.
Because it's just...
But don't you want to run your boy?
I do want to run my boy. And so when we go... So we are going to be building a Faith-only deck.
Yep.
And we
building a Luminy deck, you mean?
Yeah. And it's just going to be focusing on this strategy here.
Yep.
So
yep. There's our... Get it back.
Yep. And I totally want to play Matt in Cards Loose of Luminy. So
that'd be gorgeous.
Yep. All right. So anyhow, in the meantime, until next time, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating Sinnies.